This morning, a meeting of Roman Catholic leaders faces an open revolt. Conservative bishops say a landmark Vatican document on non-traditional families is unacceptable. The preliminary report outlines positive aspects of civil union and cohabitation. It offers ideas for caring for families, quote, wounded by divorce. There's also a discussion on, quote, welcoming homosexual persons. The Vatican's chief spokesman on Tuesday called the document a working draft that will be revised. Cardinal Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, is attending the bishops' meeting in Vatican City. Cardinal Dolan, good morning.
Charlie, Nora, Jane, good to be with you.
We're pleased.
It's afternoon here. Let's hurry up. My pasta's getting cold. Let's go, all right?
We have some restaurant suggestions for you. But first, this is an important time in the church. And the question is this an example of Pope Francis trying to take the church in new directions, open it up, without changing or assaulting doctrine?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Charlie. I'd say you're on to something. Pope Francis has the challenge that any successor of St. Peter, any pope would have, namely how to be true to the timeless, unchanging teaching of the church, but yet trying to find creative, fresh, invigorating ways to present it. Pope Francis has captured the imagination of the world in trying to do that, and this would be a good example. Yeah, I think you're onto something.
So how deep is the division over what he is trying to do?
I don't think, I note a remarkable unanimity and enthusiastic backing of the Holy Father's attempt to present the teaching of the church in a fresh, exciting, and chanting new way. There's unanimity there, Charlie. There might be some good, deep discussion, you bet there is, on the way that's being expressed. This was a draft document, a first stage of what's going to be the result of our 2 good weeks here in Rome. All of this is almost like antipasto to help the Holy Father arrive at a fresh new way to teach the timeless teachings of the church on marriage and family.
Cardinal, this report, which was written by a committee handpicked by Pope Francis, I've read through it. It's 11 pages, and I want to go specifically to the parts that have become so controversial. There is a section that says, welcoming homosexual persons, and it says this: homosexuals have gifts and qualities to offer the Christian community. Are we capable of welcoming these people, guaranteeing to them a fraternal space in our communities? How groundbreaking is it for the Catholic Church to raise even that question about whether the Catholic Church should welcome gay people into their communities?
Look, you're talking to the Archbishop of New York. I find it news that some people would still consider this news. Nora, you know yourself, you're as familiar with beautiful parishes and communities in the Archdiocese of New York at home who are already doing this, who are already saying, come on in, you're welcome here. This is a community of people who are trying our best to respond to the teaching of Jesus Christ, to open ourselves up to his grace so that we can live his message fully, and to seek his mercy when we can't. It's a tribute to Pope Francis that he's affirming this positive embrace of the church and calling us to make it even more dynamic.
So then why has your friend and colleague, Cardinal Burke, said that this entire document, which raises that question about whether gay people should be welcomed in the church, he said it's confused, it's erroneous, and that this whole thing should be scrapped?
Well, I think he's right. He's picked up on a sign that a lot of bishops, and I would include myself, feel that it needs some major reworking. But I can assure you that Cardinal Burke would be part of that enthusiastic unity in thinking anything we can do to welcome people into the church, anything we can do and to invite them to hear again, to hear the saving invitation and conversion of heart that comes from Jesus Christ, let's do it. So he's for that. He's got a good point and is speaking for a good number of people and saying, boy, this document is a rough draft. Does it ever need major revision? And that's what we're doing. That's the purpose of the Synod. You always take that initial document and rework it. We've been laboring hard over the last 2 days, Nora, to do that. And so thanks for paying attention to that first draft. I hope you give as careful a consideration to the ultimate relatio that comes out in a matter of days.
But this does seem to go rather significantly further than what a lay person might describe as mere freshening.
one of the major obstacles we got today is the caricature, the stereotype that's out there of constantly being no, 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 constantly telling God's people what they can't do. They've heard me say often, we've heard popes, John Paul II, Benedict XVI, and now in an extraordinarily effective way, Pope Francis saying, the church isn't about no's. The church is about a big, resounding yes to everything that is good and noble and beautiful and dignified and genuine and liberating in the human person. That's the message we're trying to get across, that the church isn't some nag, some scold that's always saying no to the beauty, the truth, and the goodness of the human project. We're there to emphasize it, to strengthen it, to affirm it.
Cardinal Dolan, we'll wait for the final draft. We thank you for joining us this morning, and we'll see you back in New York.